Hello, everyone. Well, hi. Nice applause right before I even get started. So, good morning. It's great to be here at I/O. I'm Sissie Hsiao, and I lead Google's mobile app advertising products at Google. And this talk will be about building a successful app business with ads. So first off, it's just incredible to hear all of the wonderful things that you're building in your mobile apps. And one of my favorite apps is the one that you see on the screen. It's called Calm, and it's a relaxation app. And I first sought this app out because I certainly needed more calm in my life. And so for many of us, apps like Calm are the very reason that we find our phones to be so indispensable. Now, for developers like all of you, mobile has democratized access to billions of users like me and you. And according to App Annie, in 2017, over $86 billion will be transacted in apps alone. And this is just the digital goods. This does not include real-world goods and services that are transacted through apps. So there's an incredible opportunity for all of you to build great services to reach and touch consumers' lives. Now, at the same time, because there's an incredible opportunity, there's incredible competition. There are millions of free apps vying for users' attention. So you need to make sure that your app and your advertising dollars help your app stand above the crowd. On the flip side, if you're using in-app ads monetization, well, guess what? Users' expectation for user experiences continues to get higher and higher because they have so many wonderful choices. So if you're putting ads into your app, you need to make sure that those are really great and elegant experiences for users. Or another way to say it, both the app and the ads have to be really, really seamlessly done. And this is where we want to help. We want to help you solve two fundamental problems to building a great, successful app business. Number one is how do you grow your user base? How do you find the right users, the profitable users that will resonate with your service and get excited and subscribe or pay for the services that you're building? And number two, how do you monetize your apps more effectively with in-app ads monetization? This is what I'm here to talk about. We want to help you build the tools so that you can focus on building amazing apps and the content for your users. So let's start with number one, which is how do you find those most valuable users, the ones that will like your app? Now, the good news for all of you is that billions of users are downloading billions of apps. Last year alone, Google Play saw 94 billion app downloads happen. And I've been watching this year over year. This number continues to grow. It's just incredible. But the really hard thing about finding the right user is that there is no typical profile for a user anymore. Let me explain what I mean. Let's take the very popular vertical of games. Now, contrary to what many people still believe, mobile gamers are not just young males. And in fact, men and women play mobile games about equally. And furthermore, in the US, females from the age of 10 all the way to 65, about 65% of that population, this huge range of females, plays mobile games. You know, one of my favorite things to do is to share my favorite mobile games with my daughter, who's 7. So apps are really transcending boundaries and defying our presumptions of what users really like. And this is what makes app promotion really hard. You're fishing for the right users who want to use your services. So to help make user acquisition easier and more effective for you, we built a product called Universal App Campaigns, or UAC. Now, what is UAC? Very simply, it's an ads product, and it helps you find the right user for your app across multiple billion user surfaces, including Google Search, the Google Play Store, YouTube, and over 3 million sites and apps across the Google Display Network. But before we talk a lot more about what UAC does and how it works, let me share a few stories about developers who are using UAC to accomplish their business goals. Let me start with Kabam. Now, many of you might know about Kabam. They're an award-winning game developer in San Francisco. And they have some really amazing titles like Marvel's Contest of Champions and The Fast and the Furious. And Kabam came to us with a problem for their business. They wanted to grow their global daily active users for the game Marvel's Contest of Champions. Let's hear a little bit more from them about their story.
Kabam is a world leader of massive multiplayer mobile games. Marvel Contest of Champions is an action fighting game that released in 2014, and users can play with anyone else in the world.
Because Marvel is a very social game, it's important that we find players all over the globe.
Our target audience are engaged daily active users, or what we like to call them, our regulars. These regulars are hard to find because they're not bound by geography, gender, or age.
We really didn't have the resources to process and analyze millions of data points to find our target gamer. From Hong Kong to Dallas, each player has their own unique gamer profile. At the end of the day, we just want to reach more people in the world who are going to become regulars. We worked with the Google account team to create a bid strategy that would find the regulars who would want to play Contest of Champions. Google's automation helped us find a huge untapped audience that we didn't know existed. Considering our game is 3 years old with a high user base, that really isn't an easy thing to do. We reached hundreds of thousands of new players. Year-over-year install volume increased by 2.5 times, with our target return on ad spend increasing by 70%. Now we've been able to focus on our overall growth strategy, rather than worrying about manually optimizing campaigns.
It's been really incredible for us to be part of Kabam's success story. And we're glad that despite Marvel's Contest of Champions being a game that's been out since 2014 and already having millions of users, that we were able to help them grow their installs by 6x quarter-over-quarter. And maybe more importantly, their ROAS, or return on ad spend, increased by 70%. So let's look at another example, this time in Europe. Now, MyTaxi is Europe's leading taxi app, and it really helps consumers book and find taxi rides. Now, you can imagine that this on-demand ride business is very competitive. It certainly is competitive in the US, and it's competitive in Europe as well. So their main business challenge that they came to us with was, how can I find more users for my taxi app that will actually take rides, and after that first ride, continue to take more rides? They just wanted those people to have the frequency of use of their service. So in September, they came to us and tried UAC for their expansion into 11 markets in Germany. And within just a few months, they were able to increase their installs in these 11 test markets by 70%. And more importantly, they've tripled their growth rate of finding those first-time riders who are new to their service. So we're also incredibly happy that MyTaxi was able to use our tools to build their business. Now, you might wonder, how is UAC able to deliver these performance characteristics for two very different businesses? One is a game expanding a mature business. One is conquesting into a new region for a taxi app. Well, the secret sauce is not really that secret. It's machine learning. And UAC uses machine learning to learn which app users are the most relevant and right for your app. And it does this by combining in real time hundreds of millions of signal combinations to understand where the ad should show, who the ad should show to, what the ad should look like, and also what to pay for that ad. And it's doing all of this optimization in real time to optimize the value of your dollars so that we return the highest ROI for your advertising budgets. And this helps you to save both time and money for your acquisition campaigns. Because of this, I'm also incredibly proud to say that we have now delivered over 10 billion installs for developers like you through our ad services. And potentially even more important, we're delivering over 7 billion in-app events per quarter. What are in-app events? These are the events that matter to your app, whether it's subscribing to the service, or passing a level in a game, or taking a ride in your ride-sharing app. But this is not enough. I'd like to share some new announcements on what we're adding to Universal App Campaigns. Now, first thing is we know that a really good way for users to understand what your app is about is to show them a video of the app. And this is why earlier this year, we introduced a new feature, a click-to-play video ad in Google Play. Now, this unit is exactly like it says. Users go to the Google Play Store looking for some app to download. They're invited to watch a video about an app they might like. And after watching that video, they can decide whether they want to download the app or not. This leads to very qualified users for that advertiser. Sorry. Now, another way to qualify high-value users is to actually let them try the app before they install it. And I'm sure many of you have heard of this new technology called Google Play Instant, which is really cool. Basically, if you haven't heard about this technology, it allows you to build a small version of your game and have it load instantly for consumers to try. Now, how does this work with universal app campaigns? Very simply. We are going to show users a Try Now button in the app install ads that they encounter. So if you're using Google Play Instant, you plug it into Universal App Campaigns, and now users get a Try Now experience where they get to experience potentially a level of your game before deciding to download. And this is something we're actively experimenting with and will launch in the coming months. However, making ads informative and engaging isn't enough. We also want to make them super relevant for users. About 70% of users say that they download an app based on whether they think they're going to use it or not, which seems like pretty intuitive to me. And so to help provide more information about your app in your install ads, we're introducing a new feature, the ability to surface in-app content in your Universal App Campaigns ads. Now, maybe an example is more clear on explaining how this works. So let's look at the app Wish. For those of you who don't have the Wish app, Wish is a retail app. And they sell a lot of different things. They sell kids stuff. They sell sports equipment. They sell travel stuff. They sell a lot of different lines of products. And so what Wish can do now is they can feed that list of products to AdWords. And after they've connected that to Universal App Campaigns, we will now use machine learning to figure out which products to service to which users before they download the app. So for example, some users might want to be buying kids stuff because they're parents. This is something that the machine learning algorithm will optimize towards. Or another set of users might be interested in sports equipment. That's what they'll optimize towards. So this is just another way for us to surface more information about what your app is for your potential users. Now let's switch gears and talk about something really important, which is the measurement of your app install ads. I know a lot of you care about understanding the ROI and efficiency of those ads dollars that you're putting forth. So we're announcing a new metric called view-through conversions, or VTCs, for Universal App Campaigns. Very simply, this metric just correlates your impressions on video and display ads to the app installs that happen downstream. And this is something that will surface in AdWords in the coming months. Now, developers like InnoGames, which created Forge of Empires, have been using VTCs to understand how effective their Universal App Campaigns are. And this is also a great way to compare VTCs between Google and other acquisition channels. Now, the other thing I'd like to add about VTCs is that they will be surfaced in both AdWords and our app attribution partners, because we know that many of you are using those surfaces to compare metrics between different providers. So we're really excited about the huge opportunity that you have to build a great service and get that service into the hands of billions of users. And my team is excited to continue working on Universal App Campaigns to help you achieve your user acquisition goals. And now, the flip side of building a successful apps business, which is monetization. I'd like to share with you how Google is helping you build great monetization into your app through advertising. Now, getting ads into your app may seem easy, but it's actually not that obvious. And here's why. Number one is what I talked about earlier. Users have a really high expectation for the apps that they use. So if you're putting ads in, they better be working really well. And number two is, fine, I'm opted into showing ads to users. How exactly do I make the most from my ad partners? How do I maximize revenue? Those are the two problems that we want to help you with. Let's start with great ads experiences. Now, stepping back for a second, I've been working on apps for 6, 7 years, and I've been really, really interested with the emergence of so many different ways that users can pay for things. They can pay through subscriptions, they can pay through in-app purchases, they can pay through virtual currencies, and now there's other things like tipping. There's just so many different ways that monetization is emerging in the app surface. And one thing that we've seen become very popular recently is hybrid monetization, which is just a fancy way of saying in-app purchases and ads in the same app. And when app developers are doing this, one thing that's become very popular recently is something called rewarded ads. For those of you who don't know what rewarded ads are, very simply, users opt into watching an ad, and in return, they get a service in the app. Now, this is very, very popular in games, but I'll share a non-game example, Pandora. Pandora realized that many users who are using their music service were not going to become subscribers. So instead, they offered those users a choice. Would you like to watch an ad and in return get some ad-free listening? And by and large, this is an incredibly great model because Pandora gets to monetize those users who are not paying, and the user gets a service, they're happy with it, and the advertiser actually gets a very engaged and qualified view from that user. So let's take a look at a second example, Avidly, which is a creator of a game called Bingo Party. Now, Avidly was very concerned about adding ads to their app. They were worried that ads were going to ruin the gameplay experience, that users would flee to other free games. So they decided to try rewarded ads just to see how it would work. And the surprising results are, number one, they made more. They got an increase in revenue between IAP and ads by 40%. But in addition, session duration grew by 20%, which means that by adding these ads to the game, users actually paid more and played longer. So everybody wins, right? Avidly, Pandora are showcasing that when you put the ads into the app in an elegant way, users, publishers, advertisers are all going to win. And because this model has become very popular, it's no surprise that we have seen rewarded ads in AdMob grow by 9x since we introduced it in March of last year. And we've added a lot more to rewarded ads since then. One of the things that we've added is rewarded with multiple options. And that's what you see on this screen here. Essentially, users are deciding to watch an ad to get some item or service in the app. Why don't you let them pick which ad they want to watch? This leads, again, to the user being more interested in the ad that they've decided to watch, and also the advertisers getting a much more qualified user. This also then leads to higher CPMs for you as a developer. Now, one of the new things I'd like to share today, I'm really excited about, is rewarded reporting in AdMob. Now, this may not sound like, wow, what's going on here? Rewarded reporting is super important because you need to know how rewarded actually works in your app. So here we're going to share a lot more metrics about exactly what's going on with the users that are interacting with your rewarded ads, which rewarded ads are working and not, what reward units are more resonating with users, what are the view-through rates of rewarded ads. And this lets you, as a developer, tune and optimize how and where you offer these rewards, and also what reward to provide to users. This also gives you a sense of how it's affecting your core user experience. Is it additive, like the case we saw with Avidly? And how is it affecting your ARPU? So this is going to be available in AdMob very soon. Now, I just talked about great ads experiences in apps. Let me talk about something else which is really important, which is maximizing the revenue that you're getting from your ad partners. So typically, the way this works today is something called mediation. And very simply, this is the ordering of how you sell your ads to different ad partners. Now, mediation traditionally works on a historical pricing basis, which basically means, in this mock-up you see here, Network A paid $2 in the past, so they're at the top, and Network B and Network C are below that because historically their prices were lower. Now, the flaw with this model, as you can see, is that at any given moment, each impression can be priced differently. And in fact, Network B or C might have a higher price for an impression than Network A at any time. So we think we can help. Earlier this year, we announced a feature called open bidding. Now, what open bidding does is it takes mediation and instead moves it to a real-time bidded auction system. What does that mean? Very simply, every impression is available for every ad network to bid into simultaneously and in real time. And this means a higher and better price for each and every impression for those of you who are selling ads inventory in your apps. Now, the benefits are beyond pricing as well. Mediation typically requires integration of multiple ad network SDKs, as well as launching multiple surfaces to reconcile billing and figure out payments. With open bidding, we're trying to resolve all that. You can get most of the demand benefits from all of those ad providers through a single AdMob SDK, leading to a lighter app for your users to download and also less development time. And what's more, AdMob will often manage the billing too and provide transparency into your metrics, so you don't have to chase down payments or log into multiple interfaces. Now, developers like Ilion here are seeing remarkable results by being part of our open bidding beta, and this is something that we're going to continue expanding over time. In fact, in addition to the partners that we launched earlier this year, we have now added the global ad network InMobi to our open bidding feature. Now let's talk about a second way for maximizing revenue from your ad partners, something called open measurement. And very, very simply, brand advertisers are often buying impressions for users, and they want to make sure that those impressions are seen, hence the viewability part. Now, in reality, in the past, if developers wanted to guarantee viewability of their ads, they had to integrate multiple SDKs that yielded disparate numbers of their viewability. So to solve that, what we've done is joined an IAB-led coalition, which is unifying and simplifying down to a single methodology for measuring viewability in your ads. So we're excited to announce that we have integrated the IAB Open Measurement SDK into our Google Mobile Ads, GMA, and our Interactive Media Ads, IMA SDKs. So this solution will help you save time, as well as reflect the true value of your app inventory. Now, in addition, our developers on DoubleClick, both our DFP and our Ad Exchange products, will also be able to use this beta. So thank you so much. We've covered a ton today. So if you have any questions about both user acquisition and universal app campaigns or our AdMob announcements, please come to our office hours. So I'd just like to close by saying it is an incredible time to be a developer. You can build great services to reach billions of users. And our job is to help you build a great business foundation on top of those services. We want to help you with two problems: user acquisition, finding the right users for your app. And number two, in-app ads monetization. Continue to make more and more maximize your revenue from the ads that you're adding to your app. Thank you so much for all of your time, and enjoy the rest of your time at I/O.